Alright, so quick BAP review for Bronze 2 players. We got Skyrider Carl. Blizzard World, one of my least favorite maps. I just, I dislike most hybrid maps. So let's see what we can learn. Your opening position's fine. I pretty much like standing here by default as well. So I guess first thing, when the bubble's up, you might as well just try and shoot the bubble. Like you can't, all the grenades you shot were just completely wasted because you can't go through the bubble. You might as well just shoot the bubble. And while you're doing that, if anyone outside of the bubble needs assistance, just go ahead and heal them. But you just want to put most of your resources into shooting the bubble if you can, just so you can like get to your tanks so in case he needs it. That's more of a nitpicky thing. There's no reason for you to drop down right there. So I assume you were worried that the hog was like gonna go out of vision for a second or whatever, but there's literally no reason to drop down right there. At least not yet, because you're still gonna have like full vision of the guy almost immediately after you drop down. So hopefully you get back up. You realize that and you get back up there. Okay, so ability usage is a big thing as well. So your shift, if you've noticed, is like a long 15-second cooldown. It heals a ton. If people are below half, it heals for 100. If people are above half, it heals for 50. And then no matter what, it heals for 50 over time. There was like nobody near you except for the Torb that took a little bit of damage that you could have just healed with a grenade. So hopefully, nobody pushes you in the next second or you take some burst damage or anything because you're not going to have your shift for yourself or anybody else. You really just got to be careful with your abilities because the cooldowns are so long, and in the time whenever they're down, it's like the biggest time when you're like vulnerable. Good jump to heal. Again, if you were just back up on that high ground, you would have like full vision of everybody, and you wouldn't have to be moving around all crazy trying to get views of them. Yeah, cool. Okay, so whenever people in this game take damage, either friends or foes, they actually make a grunt noise. Whenever you were looking forward and you heard the hack complete and the ash started making noises and stuff, that should have clued you in that Sombra is getting is attacking your Ash, and you just saw Ash. So mentally, if you can connect those two things, you'll know that like, oh, your Ash needs peeling. Like you can get up there and probably make a difference in that fight. Audio is like a huge thing. So in your system settings, if you change your audio mix to night mode, I find that it makes hearing stuff like that really, really easy. But again, if you were just up here by default, you would have had like a full view of the battlefield and stuff, and the Sombra probably would. She may have hacked you, but realistically, she's not going to be able to one clip you before you can use all of your abilities to save yourself. And you'd have the Ash hopefully there to help you as well. So far, I mean, you're not playing terribly by any means. It's more just like not knowing where you should be. And the reason I say that high ground is so good is because like during this whole defense round, you would have had such a strong view of everything, you know? Okay, so big thing here especially. So whenever you're up there and you're like, just holding your right click on your tank, you need to start weaving in damage between your heals as well because like all these people that are pushing, they have literally no reason to stop unless they're taking damage or anything. Because if they're pushing into this choke here and you're just healing your tank, you're barely making up for the damage that they're doing while not giving them any reason whatsoever to like reconsider what they're doing. So weave, like you said, you just learned what weaving is. Weaving is super important just all the time. Even if you're just putting shots on a Rein shield, that's less HP that the Rein shield has that the Hog's shotgun has to break through. Again, okay, big one here. So the lamp is like your absolute panic button, save you from most situations. So like I said, ability usage is like probably 30% of BAP's kit. Just because the cooldowns are so long, you can't afford to just use them suboptimally very often. When you threw that lamp, there was like nobody in danger of even being low. And unfortunately, now that it's like just out there, like the time on the lamp is both ticking down, and people are just gonna have way more time to shoot it while you're still at a an HP where you weren't in danger before. So you just got to be careful about stuff like that. But I mean, you're still learning and everything. But if you had just stayed up there as well, all of these characters in front of me or in front of you wouldn't be such a so scary right now. Like you'd still be up here. Like Ryan can't get up there on his own. Like they'd have to use the pedal at least. But yeah, like right now, you're like not doing anything, right? So you just came around here because you thought you were gonna chase the echo, but in this time you've reloaded and you've effectively like gotten zero value. Like there's this person starting to get low. There's other people that probably need your help. Uh, you're just not getting. You're having a lot of downtime right now, you know. So like you're rotating back and everything, but like in those like 5-10 seconds, like right there, your Ash died more or less just because you just had so much downtime whenever you really just didn't need to chase after the echo. If the echo was a lot lower, like to like 1 HP and you want to stop her from getting the mega, that's totally fine. But because of the fact that one, you didn't get the echo and you had so much downtime, it's translating into like bad things happening for your team, you know? And honestly, your aim is better than bronze. Like your aim is not even the one thing that I would be criticizing right now. It's more just like positioning, like I said, and decision making. So whenever he was getting pinned, that would have been like the time for Lamp. Like, pin does like a ton of damage or whatever, and you see that your hog's low and stuff. Obviously, you're not just going to be able to know that on reaction every time, but that's like a situation where a lamp would have saved that person, and hopefully you could like buy enough time to stabilize them. But this is just kind of like the cascading consequences thing, because like you had a bunch of downtime, you didn't put a bunch of damage on people that were aggressing on your team, and like Ash died, and now the hog died, and basically Torb and you are next. You're next. And it kind of all comes down to like whenever things happen like that, there's always like a root cause, like what something caused it to happen initially. And from time to time, the thing that causes stuff like that to happen is somebody just gets like a headshot. A Widow gets 2 picks like back to back or whatever, and like that's why you get pushed. But in this one, it was just like a bunch of unoptimal decisions led to like a cascading effect of consequences where like because you go and chase Echo and you're not in a bad spot, like you're not getting any value on your team. You're not doing damage to the enemies. You're not healing your team. Somebody dies, then somebody dies, and then somebody dies. So same thing kind of here. You heard Sombra's voice line, and whenever you do that, if at all possible, you should be looking around to see who they're going after. I know it's hard to keep up with this kind of stuff, but like just a quick peek to see if like somebody's outline is like turned backwards and shooting at somebody, and then maybe you might be able to help them, but like not every time. But you should at least get in the habit of like checking. So like now would have been a great time to actually use your abilities. You had a little bit of time there at the end where you weren't hacked anymore from the EMP. And like this is all a learning process, obviously.
Not every day gives you a second chance.
And so your window as well, now that EMP is gone, I hope that you're going to use your window very soon, because EMP is like the only thing that can make the window go away. It charges really fast, so you shouldn't be too worried about getting like a ton of value on it. You should just set it up for yourself and then try to pump as much damage and then some bonus heals through it as much as you can to like help turn a fight or get a strong pick. See, that time you did well. Like you heard Sombra's gun at the very least, and you like turned around to see like what the heck. But yeah, here you don't have to play so close to your tank as well. Like if you're not gonna peek at the enemies and like put shots on them, you might as well just be on the high ground, so that you can just be in a safer spot. But play a little bit close to your team. Like against two dive heroes, obviously you don't want to be completely isolated, like because a Sombra with an Echo is going to be able to kill you if you're completely isolated. But you don't have to play like just in a big circle with your team, you know. Especially whenever there's not like a team fight going on, like they're in the poke stage, you can just be up on the high ground, like right clicking and then like checking this stairway over here. The reason I say that is like you idealistically you'd be up here with like soldier or something or playing over here and you'd be able to keep an eye on that area over there to know if like people were trying to make a different high ground take play. Yeah, you got to use your ult more as well. Like even like a crappy ult that you only put like a few shots through is better than an ult you hold for the whole game, especially like window and stuff. There's not even like, unless you're going to coordinate a window visor with your soldier, there's not really anybody you're holding it for, you know? And like even then, if you could have used your window before and probably charged almost an entire new one by the time he's going to have visor. Not a ton you could have done there. Like your whole team's playing out in the open. They get EMP'd. Like that's just kind of how a big grouped up EMP goes. Uh, I'm actually just gonna fast forward now to the attack because I just want to see if you play the attack differently and if so how.
Ready for battle. Ready.
Let's get you all better.
Okay, looks like Pharah got an opening pick or whomever, and oh no, Ashe got an opening pick. So still kind of the same thing here. You should still be trying to find positioning where you can like shoot, heal, like try not to get hyper focused on one particular thing. Like shooting Tracer's great. Like, you know, if she dies, that's awesome. But even just getting into the habit of shoot, flick a heal to somebody, shoot, flick a heal to somebody. Even if there's like nobody who needs healing, just being in the habit, especially at first, of shooting, heal, shooting, heal, will just like make it second nature to you. Like I understand that like everybody's full health, but just like getting into the conscious habit of shooting people and then heal, shoot, heal. And then as your skills develop and like your game sense like evolves and stuff, you'll know when it makes sense to like stay on a target and when it makes sense to completely pocket. Like right there, that Echo needed to die. Like I'm not sure if you just like forgot about them because they jumped down, but you have exo boots. At some point, like during that fight, if you had just jumped straight up in the air, you could have gotten that one more shot on the Echo. Like you're just letting them escape, and it seems like you've just completely forgotten about them at this point.
With the payload. Bugamish.
Like that was a very strange decision to just both let your Pharah die. It's hard to heal the Pharah, I agree. And then also, but you let the Echo live. Like she should not have gotten away for that for free. Like she should have died for that. And then like these long rotations, you just need to be a little careful about how much downtime you're giving. Like you want to make as many short rotations as you can, especially using exo boots if you're just trying to get up on high ground. You just want to try to make the rotations as quick as possible, just so you can always be shooting or always be healing, just always getting like your numbers up or like kills, limbs, all that kind of stuff, you know. It looks like you end up winning, and that's great.
Until it doesn't.
But yeah, there's a ton of stuff you could take away from this that I hope you do and like you make use of it. But like I was saying, being in a strong power position, especially on defense at Blizzard World, just means so much. And then just making sure you're not doing just one kind of number. Like you don't want to just like heal and not shoot because like you're just giving yourself so much downtime. You're not utilizing BAP's best abilities like to your advantage, which is his gun. His gun is everything good about Baptiste, to be honest. Because of the way that his heals and shooting are staggered, you can always get off 2 shots for every healing grenade. Or like as long as you can flick it fast, it's like 2 shots, grenade. 2 shots, grenade. If you can't do that, you can do shot, grenade, shot, grenade. You lose a little bit of damage and everything, but it's like that makes sure that your healing's up as long as if you can't like flick to a target fast enough. But you just gotta make sure that you're like staying in positions, one where it makes sense for your team, and two where you can just put damage on the enemy safely while healing your team. You gotta get better at the weaving and the decision making. Like the abilities and stuff were not great either. But hopefully you'll take away something from this. But if the only thing you take away from it is just better positions where the enemy has a hard time getting to you, and you can see your team, and other than that, just make sure you weave. You got to make it a conscious effort to shoot and heal, no matter who you're healing or who you're shooting. It doesn't matter if it's a shield or if you're the person that you're healing doesn't even need it at all right then. Just consciously make it second nature muscle memory to start doing that, okay? And I think you'll see great improvements.